Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Onward VR Master League. Welcome to Season 9, Week 7. I'm your caster for the day, Noman with a 4. I am joined, as ever, for my Sunday night fight. Sunday afternoon fights? Sunday fights. It doesn't matter. They're fighting on a Sunday. In the Button Cup with Sleepy, with 2-3. Sleepy, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, Noman, and yes, we are here on a Sunday slaughter, Sunday slapfest, Sunday slip-ups, Sunday shootouts, whatever you want to alliterate Sunday with, you're more than welcome to here. But yes, today we have SMC Tactical versus Pacifists in one of our final Button Cup matchups for Season 9. So really excited to see what's going on there. I should check to see exactly who's in the lead, but I'm pretty sure it's the EU.
Yeah, I believe that that is the case. It is a commanding lead at that, but it's not over yet. We've still got a couple played today. As you mentioned it, we've got one going on actually in tandem here. I don't believe it will be cast. That is Boss Fight and Rome duking it out as well. But yeah, we have got a match for everyone at home. These two teams have yet to play each other in their current iterations. Pacifists obviously being a somewhat newer team, although a conglomerate of older players. There's no predictions here. It's hard to call this. They have not played each other. We don't really know what to expect. Sleepy, what are your sort of initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts would be I'm pretty confident in SMC here, to be honest with you. They've been playing very strong this season. They finally seem to have maybe locked in some of their synchronization issues that they had throughout the last season. They've been putting in a lot of work. Their team's doing well, and they're doing a good job of rotating in all their players. Pacifists, on the other hand, I'm going to say a weak roster, but I don't want anyone to get upset, because what I mean by weak is not by the individual player makeup, but just simply the fact that they only have just barely enough roster team members to be able to play. And while that's not necessarily an issue, as most teams will typically play the same starting 5 or 6 or whatever, in a fairly standard rotation. However, this unfortunately doesn't allow you to just have the availability throughout the week for standard matchups that you might normally have. So, I'd be impressed to see what Pacifists bring here today against SMC. They definitely have some strong players, some of which coming from other previous teams, like Beckenost, and I believe also... Yeah, well, there's a few from a few different teams. I believe Stray Jack came over from Silent Purge a long time ago, maybe. Then you've got Jamie, Rexar, Whale, Legless Chicken, and Beckenost. All of which top players, really good players. We'll just have to see how they bring it against the SMC team this afternoon.
Indeed we will, and we don't have a lot of time to jibber-jabber here, so I'm going to take everybody through the bans and the map choice, and then we're going to get into the action because these teams are ready to go. So, on the SMC side, no particular surprise in their ban as Downfall comes out for them, and then on the Pacifist side, they have opted to ban Tanker versus SMC, which to me is a little interesting. Does that make sense to you based on some of the statistics? Because I was looking at the site, and Tanker's not really the sort of top SMC map. Are they banning into weaknesses?
That's a good question. Tanker, you're right, is not SMC's strongest map, but it's also not a weak map for them either. I think a lot of the stats on SMC as far as Tanker goes are, obviously they come from a long history as well. Actually, wait, this page has what I need. So, yeah, SMC have a 75% win rate on Tanker, but Pacifists have an 86% win rate on that. So that is interesting that Pacifists would ban that. Maybe they just feel that SMC is stronger on it than they are, even though they do have a better win percentage.
Yeah, they just wanna help the casters out. It's a difficult map to cast, so we appreciate that ban on behalf of the casters, Pacifists. A big thank you to that. And we've got the map choice all lined up. The teams are ready to go. The first map is going to be Cargo for these two teams. I'm expecting an SMC victory here. They pick into it. They feel strong on it. It is one of their most played maps. I think top 3 all time. But I don't think Pacifists are going to take this one lying down. I think we're going to see a close score line here. Are you expecting a pretty close score, Sleepy?
I am actually. I am expecting Pacifists to give a good fight. I'm expecting them to make it tough for SMC. However, I do still feel that like my initial prediction is correct, and I do feel like that yes, SMC will probably still take the win, but I do again feel that Pacifists will not make this easy.
Yeah, hopefully not. Nobody wants to see an easy game in the Button Cup. You know, we want to see the NA and the EU sort of creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, fighting it out to the last. And I would be kind of surprised if we don't see a couple of 3-3 scenarios, at least on one or two of these maps. My gut feeling is we're going to be seeing, Cargo, Quarantine, maybe some Bazaar, sort of the classics for a lot of these teams. And all of these maps can swing pretty wildly. So I am excited to get into this. Excuse me. While we are waiting for the teams to ready up and get in, I do want to thank really quickly, right off the top, our sponsors, ProTube VR and VR Cover. Much appreciated to those guys for providing the prizes for the season and for the players to play for, as well as just making fantastic products for VR. So check those guys out when you have a chance. And without further ado, and perfectly timed if I may add, we are getting ourselves into some gameplay as round one kicks off. Pacifists on the defense as SMC had the map choice.
This will probably be a good place for them to start. Pacifists will probably feel a bit more confident actually getting the Volk, the side choice rather than the map choice. They can hopefully set up a defensive advantage positioning here while they try and capture a few points.
A little bit of aggression coming out from that Pacifist defense. They're set up in the mid here. They've got one inside of what used to be the yellow building. Now it's just white and gray as normal, and a little bit of pre-fire coming out on both sides as the smoke continues to pour in. An early C4 explosion finds nothing as it's a little too short and too high. Now SMC slowed up a little bit as they've sort of taken control of their side of the middle and starting to push through the tunnel as Edna is the first one to draw blood. Stray Jack going down on the inside, and a quick refrag by Whale. We'll put Trip down on the ground as well, and an unfortunate team kill there. Some disconnect as Nutjob will find Jamie. Solution trying to push in here, and it's going to be a trade out with Nutjob as they go through, but not before another member of SMC is dropped, and now it is just two. Oh, there it is, the third coming back up as Soda finds the revive onto Trip, and smokes continue to come out. Man, they've got plenty of these smokes.
Yeah, they sure do, and they have blotted out Whale's view line pretty well. They're not getting the best sight line obstruction, as he does have a small little gap where he's going to be able to see something. But Soda's going to come up now. He's going to be taking the peek. He's probably not going to be able to see Whale as much as Whale will be able to see him, but the smokes have come out, which might alert Whale's attention to this. We'll just have to see how they react now. Rexar putting in the suppressive fire for the push lane. But they're looking for the push, and there it is. The push comes out from Rexar, and now it's a 3v1 as they come crashing down. There's Edna around on the container. Whale pops out. He's looking for Edna, but Edna's going to come around the corner. She's not going to... There's Trip on the backside to pick up the refrag, and SMC will take round one on Tanker.
Yeah, and a pretty great play there. It was unfortunate that they couldn't get that confirm onto Trip. I think that could have gone a little differently if they didn't have that reinforcement, very obviously, because it was a trade out in the end with Edna. But a solid play there by SMC they sort of like tempered their rush a little bit, right? They pushed up, they threw some smokes, they tried to catch people out of position. They forced a couple of mistakes. We saw that team kill. And then they were able to sweep the round in the end, just consistently putting down those smokes, consistently blocking sight lines, I think really helped them out on that round. As a pretty fantastic start to this series as SMC goes up 1-0 here.
Yeah, no, I think they did a good job at pacing out their equipment usage. As you mentioned there, Noman, they were able to kind of keep smokes on their side, helping them out pretty much throughout that entire round. And, that that is, exactly what you need. You need to be able to do that, especially in a map like Cargo, where you only have a width of about, I don't know, what would you call it, Noman, from one side of Cargo to the next on the skinny side. Call that maybe 50 meters max.
Yeah, about 70 or so.
Right. So, and there's only but 4 lanes, or essentially 4 lanes. To go either north or south. Yeah, there's a couple of auxiliary routes and things like that you could use to kind of, change things up just a little bit. But overall, Tanker is one of those maps where utility usage is going to come into huge factor here, and I think SMC is doing a good job of doing that so far.
They have done a fantastic job indeed, and now the Pacifists will kick off their offensive round as we get into round number 2 on Cargo of this Button Cup matchup. We'll see if the Pacifists have that same kind of patience that we saw, and maybe one less team kill this time, as we did see that early team kill by Nutjob onto Jamie, I believe. Edna is tucked in. There was a call out here that they've pushed up. Now they're just tucked in on the other side of the wall from each other here. I feel like Edna's going to play the patient game here.
Is Nutjob a reservist?
That's a great question. We did not actually have a chance to go through the rosters before the game started, but
he wasn't on the website, so unless he's one of the other players, the in-game name is different.
Whale does find Edna there as she's not ready for that long angle push, and Whale now on the confirm as Trip trying to look for that refrag doesn't find it in time. Now, there's just a little bit of pressure here on the middle. They need the rest of the Pacifists to start pushing up, and there we're starting to see some of the smokes. A nice little frag, a little too long. 2 sets of frags come out, and Landon and Sir Lucian somehow survive. These frags are in the right places, just not finding their targets. Captain Soda will find Whale on his first aggressive push out.
Yeah, we're a little over 1:15 into the round here, and now we've got grenades out from both sides, but it looks like the SMC grenade from Landon is going to land right between Jamie and Stray Jack. He's going to be able to find a double. One confirm will come out. There's the second. Landon with a nice double frag there in the center. Now it's all up to the one-member Rexar from Pacifists to be able to push this objective, and he's got 3.5 members of SMC to work with. Now just 2.5. One's still up. Captain Soda still behind the barrels near the yellow room. Now Rexar is on the return flank.
Yeah, it's a dangerous push to make. I mean, he heard Captain Soda making those call-outs, I think. And in fact, it was a pretty good bait by him to get Trip to sort of push out and him to find that frag. He's got 4 minutes to work with, only 2 members of the defense left, and this could be dangerous. I think they're trying to go for the res there in the distance. And if Rexar is patient enough... Ooh, he does spot him out on the cross. The crossfire coming in. He doesn't find it. Sir Lucian will lock down that defense. And a little bit of frustration there from the pacifist side as Rexar wanted those bullets to find the target, but, couldn't. He just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, and sometimes that happens, that one shot that you need to hit, you just pull just a little bit, you pull your trigger finger back too hard, and you pull your wrist, just a tad right as you pull the trigger. Those are all real things, and that's something that you have to learn how to compensate, even, or not compensate, but learn how not to do, even in real firearms. Like the trigger pull, or squeeze, is a lot less of an aggressive motion than some might think. Like, the smoother you are with that, the less chance that you're going to pull your shot and miss your target. So the more you can think about squeezing the trigger versus pulling it, the better off you are, as far as, not trying to do it too fast and thereby, maybe making your hand flex, which, especially if you're not using like a Pro Tube or any sort of rifle stock, that can make all the difference in whether or not your shot lands. So it's definitely something worth considering, something worth thinking about a little bit. Maybe if you're, as an individual, warming up for your team, or just warming up before a game, or maybe just going into work on your own skills and you're in the shooting range, you're working on some stuff. think about it. Watch your hands. Watch your sight as you pull the trigger. See if you are pulling your hand away because of how you're squeezing your trigger, and see if you can find a way to counter that, because that could eventually help to you hitting those much-needed shots like Rexar desperately needed there as SMC goes up 2-0.
Very helpful tips there. Thank you, Sleepy. Letting everyone know the prowess. The gun using prowess. And that's why we're casters, you know. We're just good at squeezing and not pulling. Squeezing the life out of these games rather than pulling the life out of them. All right, Pacifists are on the defense. We're into our third round now, and we've got this sort of quick cap objective. I'm excited to see what happens here as we start to see the pressure come in from SMC. The smokes are out. It's a good smoke here on the objective. Does blind the majority of this approach. SMC being somewhat patient here as they wait for that smoke to finish developing, and Strayjack and Landon will trade headshots 1-to-1. Not like that. Edna pops out. Rexar available to pick her up, however, not going to be surprised. And that's 2 members of SMC already out. The defensive nades coming in just a little too short. Could have been dangerous for Soda and Sir Lucient.
It's the wife-husband combo of the Jordans getting taken out early already from SMC. That whole household just goes hard. They just have to show everybody that on stream. But yes, Pacifists doing a good job quelling this SMC defense. Honestly, you know, when I saw those initial smokes come out, Noman, I thought this was going to be a quick rush push, because they've got 2 points that they can kind of not necessarily throw away, but work with if they wanted to try something risky, right? And this could have led to a cap and ending the map 4-0. But now they're making an impressive comeback as 2 members of SMC get a couple of great picks there as I was speaking. Now Whale trying to fight off Trip. He's going to be looking for Sir Lucient now, and now they're communicating. Whale's going to be in a world of hurt. There he is. Cap. Soda finds the backside of him. Now he's on the objective. He's going to go for the cap, but no. Oh my goodness. What an excellent drop trade from Soda. He drops his tablet, pulls his weapon, gets the trade with Jamie, and SMC gets around going up 3-0.
I am as surprised as I'm sure Jamie is that he was able to snap that gun up with the tablet out in his hand and find the trade just in the nick of time. I mean, it was going to be an uphill battle for Jamie regardless, as there were still 2 members up and relatively close to the objective, but a solid play there by Soda to find the backside of Whale and put that pressure on to that defense.
Yeah, and I mean, props to Jamie. He recognized the fact that Whale died on the objective and that he was very, very much concerned about it. He was running back immediately, and you know, like I said, if it wasn't for that impressive kind of like switch shot that that Soda was able to pull off to get that trade, you know, Jamie could have definitely done some damage there, because you know, you never know how, you know, Sir Lucient and Trip might have reacted once Cap and Soda went down. So, you know, there's all these questions in the air, but a great play overall from both sides. But SMC, of course, able to close that one out and take their continued lead here on this map.
Yeah, we're seeing a 3-0. We're not seeing the close game we expected, and I don't know what it is for Pacifists. I think there's a little bit of disjointed aggression. We see members going down early. Some of those defensive positions didn't rotate after they found their picks in that last round. So we saw Rexar, for example, stick around sort of the outside mid and was able to be cleaned up on that second push by SMC. And Trip just finding a very nice angle on his approach through the east, was able to find one. So they're just kind of, I don't know, taking them apart bit by bit as they go through. But we'll see if they're able to keep that momentum going as round 4 is now underway, and SMC is on the defense of what could be the final round of map 1 already. I mean, we're only, what, 15 minutes into this game, and Cargo might already be over.
That is right. SMC, though, on the defense, and Landon going to come out quick with an early pre-fire kill onto Nutjob. I did get confirmation from chat that Nutjob is a reservist, so no need to worry there if anybody was. He is clear and able to play in this game. Nice nade over the top from Pacifist, but to no effect. Captain Soda waiting on the ambush here, but I have a feeling as soon as he shoots, Whale's going to pop around this corner. Oh, he might hear Whale. Oh, he's not able to keep... Oh, he does pop out. He finds Whale after Whale manages to grab Landon. Jamie and Sir Lucient will trade. Trip will confirm Jamie. Things are just going all over the place here. We got a 3v2 now, just under 40 seconds into the round.
Yeah, it could have been such a great push, but Whale just not prepared for Captain Soda's position, and a nice frag there is going to find the edge of Captain Soda. A quick res will come out from Trip as they are on objective and ready for this push. Will Stray Jack be ready for Edna's position here? She's so small. She's just tucked in here.
There's no way to see her even if you wanted to. There we go. Trip gets the down. Edna goes ahead and cleans up, and they're immediately on rotation for the trade, for the res.
Middle.
Edna did spot out Rexar's position here as now he's looking for the peak here on Captain Soda. I don't know if Soda should be ready for him here.
Yeah, the whole team knows that he's in the middle. He really has limited options to be able to effectively get out and away without crossing into the path of, for example, Captain Soda or even Trip or Edna's line of sight. So his best bet is more than likely going to be to try and get past Edna into the tunnel? No, I really don't know how he can get by this here.
And there it is. He's going to find Edna. I was just going to say, pre-firing those boxes is just so important. That's such a strong position if you're not ready for it, but it is penetrable by bullets, and Trip taking up the same position is a dangerous call. You just saw somebody get shot through the boxes there.
But at the same time, it's quite unlikely somebody's going to come back and pre-fire that boxes again.
That is entirely possible. I don't think Rexar knows he had the kill on that.
Of course.
Oh, he does find Captain Soda as he rotates around the objective. It's now a 1v1, and Rexar here could be the saving grace for Pacifists in this round if he's able to down Trip. He's got plenty of time to work with, 3.5 minutes. It's just going to come down to whether he has the mags and the wherewithal to know where Trip is.
Well, he does have a few dead friends laying around the board, so he could always scavenge a little bit more resources. However, I kind of feel like this is going to work out into Rexar's advantage. We're going to have to see Trip display an innate sense of patience here, because that so far has been how Rexar, with the exception of the pre-fire into Edna, of course, that's kind of exactly how he's managed to get his picks so far. He's kind of just waiting for that anxious defense to go kind of running around, getting anxious, doing the defender shuffle.
And that was a very nice awareness play by Trip. Not sure which part of Rexar he heard, but it sounds like he heard him creeping up and was able to pop up and find that kill and give SMC a quick 4-0 sweep here on Cargo on their map choice.
Yeah, wow. Captain Soda and Trip both collecting 5 there. Landon with 4, Solution 3, and Edna grabbing 2 for herself. So overall, a well-balanced play from the SMC team. Now, Pacifists, don't get me wrong, they had some strong positioning. They had a few things really going for them there, and Rexar was definitely kind of that last man contender a lot of times, and so he's definitely their clutch guy right now. But yeah, they just didn't have it for SMC, and maybe it's just because they're not. Maybe they were too scared of Tanker when they should have been more scared of Cargo, because SMC opinion is way more dangerous on Cargo than they are on Tanker.
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking beforehand as well, that they would maybe ban something like Cargo or even
Suburbia.
Yeah, even Suburbia or Quarantine. I mean, a lot of these are really strong maps for SMC, but then again, strong maps for a lot of teams. It's a hard choice. True. I definitely am curious about that Tanker ban. Maybe it's because they're running without their full squad, as you said. That job is filling in as a reservist, so yeah, they might just be missing an integral part of their Tanker play. But outside of that, our second map is in, and it is going to be Snow Peak. This is, I think, going to be a viewer favorite, as a lot of people tend to love watching this map in the league play. It is sort of the first season it is in regular league play. It was an opt-in choice in the last season, but we've seen some really great strategies coming out on this map. The team sort of finally getting their meta down on this, all their positioning down. It takes a little bit of play time. It's why we don't normally just throw maps in right away.
Right, yeah, of course. I mean, now granted, some of those teams were prepping meta and playstyle for these maps ever since the maps were released, as Snow Peak was one of the more final submissions of house-made maps currently to Onward. So it does make sense. You know, some teams might be a little bit more prepared for these these maps than others. However, yeah, as you mentioned, we've been seeing a lot of really cool stuff coming out of this map lately. The Colettos match that I was on, and I believe you were casting that one as well, were you not, Noman?
I believe I was, yes.
Yeah, where we saw that really, really cleanly executed entrance into that side tunnel, where the Colettos just, you know, they used their teamwork, they used a little bit of shield baiting to get the defender to push out away from his safety box. They took him down, and then they just rolled in like a steamroller, just plastering everyone who got in their way. I mean, the dynamic was so great. I mean, it filled my heart with joy. You know what I mean? Like, I've known Vivian and a lot of the folks on the Colettos for a while now, and to see their team, and you know, who struggled to kind of find their footing initially, finding that footing and really bringing out some very, very impressive plays. And when I say that, I'm not lying. I was very impressed with that play. It really kind of, you know, it's good to see. You love seeing those teams get growth. But enough talk about that. It's actually time to get into this match.
It is indeed round one underway as the Pacifists make their push in towards the objective, and we're seeing a sort of 2-2-1 split here. Landon likely going to be the first one. No, Jamie will be the first one to find action as Captain Soda goes down on the inside tunnels. And now we'll see if Rexar and Whale are ready for Landon Jordan's position here. I have a feeling he's just going to pop up as soon as he hears footsteps. He's got something primed there. He got a little flashbang? He's got a flashbang in his hands.
I thought he probably had a C4.
He does find the shots on the Whale. There is one left. Rexar, is he going to be ready for this position? Wow. No, Landon finding two right off the bat like that. Landon, I think, only thinks he got one, but he did in fact find 2 kills there.
He also found 2 headshots, let's be honest.
He did indeed. Sharp shooters, these SMCs.
No, man, have you checked out how fly the footwear is on these Volk soldiers, bro? Check out them Jordans.
Dang, they are pretty sick. They are pretty sick, my friend.
Dang, Volk be out here styling.
Stray Jack and Jamie inside the tunnel here. Nutjob already in the complex. Stray Jack.
This is crazy because even as close as they are, they're still not even close to the objective, just simply because of the hallways and everything that's going on. Sir Lucian and Stray Jack will actually trade. Stray Jack will get Sir Lucian will get the full kill. Sir Lucian now giving callouts to Trip for a quick res. Trip gonna keep some suppression fire down just to make sure nobody comes out and picks him up. And no, as soon as he gets the res, Jamie will pop out just at the nick of time and get the pick onto Sir Lucian. Trip now kind of stuck in his spot. He doesn't want Jamie to...
Nutjob finds another as now they've evened things out to a 2v2. Trip has to be forced to rotate here. He's kind of in a bad spot. He's going to be sandwiched between Jamie and Nutjob if he's not careful. Edna the only one here to provide a little bit of support. And the smoke is coming out now.
Yeah, I think Edna should just go ahead and start focusing all of her attention back towards the objective, because I don't know if their kill count is right, because as you said, Landon did think that he only got 1 initially, so they might be off on kill count right now, which could cause them a little bit of extra panic. But right now, I think, yeah, Nutjob is going to do exactly what I thought wasn't going to work and would actually help Trip out, which is not be in sync with Jamie as they come in on the objective. That would have been the only way that Trip really wouldn't have come out on top of that situation. I kind of saw it coming as Nutjob was prepping to get to that door a little bit quicker than Jamie was, and now we've seen Jamie's pushed out almost entirely out of the tunnel system, and his next opponent is actually going to be Edna, who I'm kind of seeing he's probably going to end up finding the backside of her just because of her having to check both the angle she's currently looking as well as the one behind her.
She's in a tough spot for sure. It's going to give Trip enough information, but Jamie has a lot of rotation options. If he can find this kill, he's got a lot of different approaches he can make. Although time is running a little short for the Pacifists.
That it is, but I wouldn't say dangerously short by any means. However, the more and more time he lets burn, the more and more confident the SMC team might be with their time. Oh, and as I mentioned, Edna goes to take the peek at the other angle and gets cleaned up, but Trip able to get a nice headshot refrag, and SMC continuing the trend with 5 unanswered points here in our series so far.
Yeah, great play there by Jamie, just not quite enough to close that out. He's not able to find the shots onto Tripp, and cool under pressure as Tripp is able to find the pick instead. Yeah, 5 unanswered points. This is not how I anticipated this series going.
No, myself either. I mean, we talked about it at the start of the game. You know, we really thought that this would go a lot closer, and so far it hasn't. But to be fair, Noman, we do have quite a lot of games still left to be played.
There is indeed, and Pacifists working with the reservists can, you know, throw a wrench in the plans. But Pacifists have been playing just a strong game this season overall. So to see them not able to put points up on the board on their map choice so far, and of course on SMC's in that last cargo match, is a little surprising.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I guess you could say SMC had it a bit easier out of the gate because they were on defense, but that's never really the case anymore. I think maybe with that objective it might be a little bit more so, but I'm starting to think not, simply because of all the entrance points to that. Like, if you were, you know, if I were to call it a one-on-one situation, would I give Volk the inherent advantage given a decent amount of time? No, I wouldn't. So I don't know that I could call this map that, but you know, inherently you have that kind of safety net because you're not the one having to be the aggressor. You're able to sit back on your haunches a little bit, be patient, and let them come to you.
See if that's the strategy that Pacifists opt for here. So we get ourselves now into our second round of the second map here on the second day of the weekend. Does Friday count as part of the weekend? I don't think it does, because you have to go to work.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I've always been confused by that too. Everyone's like, on Friday night, they're like, oh, it's the weekend. I'm like, no, it's still Friday, technically. But, I mean, you know, to each his own.
Whatever you want to celebrate, you know? It's important that you celebrate your own milestones.
Tell you what I'm not celebrating right now is losing that hour of sleep last night.
Oh, you're telling me, brother. That is a... let's pour one out for our lost homie. The 1 hour on Sunday.
Yeah, the 2 o'clock hour of Sunday night. Or no, the 3 o'clock. No, because it jumps forward, so it does it at 2.
Yeah, we have got SMC here pushing 3 strong into the main tunnel entrance. And the smoke's starting to come out. No defense really to speak of here, and probably not a bad call. You can get grenades in there pretty easily. You don't normally want to be... If you're going to be pushed up in that corridor, you want to be further down the hill and catch them as they sort of round the corner.
Yeah, you don't want to give them too much avenue there to really start building a push, because as soon as they get a couple of people and get some momentum going, a one-person defense at the doorway is not going to stop them, you know?
No, it definitely will not. A little bit of preemptive fire there from Tripp, as Jamie's going to be the first one that finds a pick onto Captain Soda, as Edna Jordan now the second one in that position ready, and Tripp is coming around the corner with a vengeance as he finds Whale. Straight Jack will find the refrag quickly though. And the nade, a fantastic nade there to down Landon. Sir Lucian should be able to find it. Edna does clean up Jamie inside of that hallway. And now it's a 2v3 as Landon is revived.
Now he's gonna push the smoke looking for Nutjob, but Nutjob actually gonna see him through the box? No, he might have
he definitely had the open angle on it.
Yeah, it was the angle I was looking at. It didn't look possible, but I checked it. It's fine. It's fine, everyone.
Now Edna pushing in from one side, does find Nutjob on a long rotation there and makes it a 1v2.
This is a cap. They might keep Straight Jack's attention long enough.
If the smokes continue to pour out and the poor placement on that second one isn't going to help this push very much at all.
I think he was just relocating an old smoke to try and give him some room to push up a little more, but he realized how dead it was already. Now Straight Jack going to be on his way up the tunnel here, trying to defend the objective, but he's put himself in a very open position. Straight Jack will find solution, but Edna will pop around the corner, finding the refrag, grabbing SMC yet another unanswered point here in our series.
Yeah, and we've been seeing a lot of that in this series so far, where the one offensive member, the one defensive member of SMC will make the noise, take the shots, and another will be sort of laying in wait. So if that player does go down, they're quick on that refrag. A lot of really fantastic refragging plays here by SMC, I think, is what's really locking in these rounds for them. And yeah, Pacifists still struggling to get onto the board at all, as Snow Peak goes 2-0, but we are going to see a shift in the objective now. So we'll see if Pacifists can start to find their ground here. I mean, the rounds are relatively close. They're coming down to these 2v2s, 2v3s. It's not a complete blowout as the score may seem.
Yeah, no, Pacifists are definitely putting up a much better fight than what the scoreboard is telling us right now. I'm trying to now kind of go back and scan through the files, the archives, if you will, of the last round and kind of these first couple rounds to see if I'm noticing anything that they're doing, whether it be, consciously or subconsciously, that's causing them this kind of like this fallout, because they're starting and even going through mid round into early late round with pretty even trades, right? Pretty even numbers going up until, like you said, even down to the last 1v1s, 2v1s, very small numbers. But they just cannot seem to find what they need. So is it positioning? Is it rotational positioning? There's a lot of factors to think about, but I'm going to try and see if I can't figure out exactly why this is not working, or if it's just simply they're outmatched.
Could very well be the case, but SMC now on the defense inside the warehouse, and we're gonna see. This is, I think, like one of the most challenging objectives in Onward right now to push. It's so compressed, it's so small. The defense has a hard time because they've got to cover 4 different doorways. The offense has a hard time because they have to approach 4 different doorways. And both teams really have to work their audio prowess, and they have to coordinate well, make the right push at the right time. If we see any kind of disjointed play here on either side, it's going to be very apparent.
Yeah, and it's looking like the Pacifists are going to go through the tunnel all at once, or no, here we go. It does seem like they are going to split and maybe try and cast a net over that walk-up entrance to the building.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want at least one person at every entry point, right? You don't want to just funnel into one lane of fire. So I would not be surprised to see Pacifists take their time here, get into position on sort of all sides of this objective, and then make their push all at once. It is pretty much what this objective demands. Nice little check nade there. Will come out and find Trip in his outside position. Not sure if Perez is going to be the best choice here.
Yeah, Trip is giving the callouts.
Trip making a little bit of a call out there. The C4 getting taken out by Rexar. A fantastic grenade. I think Trip's surprise was spoiled by Rexar's grenade.
You notice how he shut up after that happened, right? He's not talking that smack anymore, is he?
Absolutely not. And now it's going to be 4v5. Stray Jack will find Captain Soda on the inside of that tunnel. And there it is, Whale with the confirm. Onto the loud-mouthed Trip, and Landon is going to find the Captain Soda revive here on the inside. Even things out a little bit as they make it a 4v4.
Nice play there from Sir Lucian. He doesn't expose himself, but chucks the grenade over the door, rainbow style, towards where Whale and Trip's body was. Whale, though, very conscientiously able to rotate away. But man, that was an excellent play, not exposing himself and kind of lobbing it over the doorway there to try and get the kill. And now he's going to find Whale. Will he be ready for Rexar? No, he is not. Rexar does get the kill and opens up the doorway.
Fantastic refrag play there from the Pacifists. As they're keeping things even here, Jamie does find Landon on the inside. And we've got gunfire all over the place. Edna Jordan is going to find Jamie on that push through the inside. Jamie with the nice nade onto Edna on the inside. And it's a 2v1 with a res available for the defense. As the push comes in, Rexar does confirm Edna, the last one up. Captain Soda not able to hold on. as Rexar finds that final kill, and Pacifists finally getting themselves onto the board here in the series.
How did Jamie kill Edna with a grenade when he was already dead? He was shooting at her when he died, so how would he have had a live grenade in his...
That's a great and interesting question that I don't think anyone but Jamie can answer.
No, I mean, it could have been something else, or maybe the casting side bugged on the UI and it gave Jamie the credit for the kill when it was someone else's grenade, or I don't know, but it just... whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, Pacifists do finally show themselves up on the board. They stopped the 7-0 run that SMC was on, and yeah, I mean, let's hope that this is a swing in momentum, because they only have 2 more points on this map to be able to do it, or else the series is decided, and it really doesn't matter what happens in map 3.
Yeah, the Button Cup match is for MMR, so we still will be playing it, but it does not affect, of course, the overall Button Cup final standings, as it were. Yeah, I mean, that was what Pacifists needed, right? That sort of coordinated push on all sides, and it was still a little off, right? They weren't quite pushing at the exact same time. We saw the contact happening sort of in bursts in various spots of that objective, but it did keep the defense rotating. It didn't allow them to sort of sit and just wait for everybody to file into a door. It was the right play at the right time. We'll see if they can replicate the same thing on this defensive round.
Yeah, this building isn't necessarily an easy objective to get onto either. I mean, it has multiple doorways, it has a couple of different entrances, but overall, it is still quite difficult, especially if the defense is all set up inside or on the outer edges there. It's really difficult to get inside that.
Ignore that round banner. It's actually round 4 that we're in here, and a nice little C4 placement on that pipe. We'll see if that works out in their favor. I'm surprised to not see a C4 on the inside for that defensive round for SMC. We'll see if it works out in the favor of the Pacifists this time. So we've got SMC pushing from that western spawn. So we did have Pacifists on the sort of southeast spawn, and now SMC has a bit more of a run if they want to try to get to the inside. Teams just getting set up now on the outside. Yeah.
Looks like Landon and Tripp might be the first into contact here. They are outside that northern doorway, and here's Nutjob with the peek, and Tripp's gonna take the shots, but not able to connect.
Yeah, no contact there, and there's a nice little angle there. You can kind of look through the sort of the crack between the box and the
Yeah, I see it, the column inside.
yeah, that's a very nice, very dangerous peek. The spot right outside the door, and Edna's gonna try and approach it, but Nutjob's got a grenade in hand. I mean, he is waiting for somebody to try to challenge this doorway. He doesn't even have his gun out at this point. That a frag you've got in your hand there, buddy? Yeah, it is. It is indeed.
He's also letting his teammates know that he does have some contact out this doorway still. Getting some hand signals there to try and not give away too much info. Edna is trying her darndest to find an angle on the hillside that lets her see Nutjob, but I don't know that she's gonna find it. And when she does, will he be ready to chuck? Oh, she should have that angle here soon. Yeah, she's got the sight line. If he pops back out, she's got it. All he's got to do is show that shoulder.
Captain Soda does find Whale there with a nice little smoke play, and Edna does in fact find that Nutjob pick, and now it is just two members
inside. He's made it past through the smoke. They thought they might have saw him, but Jamie has no idea. He's now down. He's going to go for the cap here. Rexar rotating through. Captain Soda able to find him. Now he's going for the cap. He's got no signs. Jamie's nowhere around. He cannot see him. Soda's got to get a little bit close. Oh no, Edna gets too excited and kills Captain Soda on the cap. That's not good, but she is now in position to get the cap herself. A nice grenade out here from Jamie gets lodged in the boxes. Luckily for Edna, no effects came through. I do think she might have taken some some shrapnel damage here, but she's looking at the code. She's typing now. Is this going to be a cap? And it is SMC Tactical. Edna Jordan gets the cap, takes SMC up to win the map and the series with that 4-1 win on Snow Peak.
Yeah, fantastic play there up until the team kill. An unfortunate.
She redeemed herself though. She got the cap. So I mean,
I don't think that negates the team kill, but yes, indeed, it was a good play, a bit of a mix up there, but she was able to salvage it. And I was surprised to just not see Jamie rotating there. I mean, you hear all that gunfire. I don't know if he checked
All
his
the
tablet.
smoke.
Yeah, I cannot believe you're not rotating all the way around that objective just to make sure, you know?
and cap is game point, and you know that, or would know that. So you look. I don't want to be too hard on the guy because it does sound like we're just ragging on him a bit, but realistically, it was not the right decision to make. Staying tucked and trying to just defend. You should have just gone out like a crazy person and gotten shot, because then we'd be going into round 5 or round 6, I should say, and you would have another chance of getting some points back. But unfortunately, that did not happen. SMC does get the cap. They take the map. They've taken the series, but we will be moving on to our third map for MMR.
We are indeed doing that, and it looks like the map choice is coming out as Quarantine will be the third map chosen by these two teams. So we'll see if Pacifists can rein it in a little bit, just try to soften the MMR blow at this point. I mean, this is a sort of diamond tier matchup, master and diamond tier matchups, as Pacifists is up there on the overall standing. So this could hurt them if they get clean swept. I mean, they put 1 point on the board, but 1 point ain't gonna be enough to soften the blow that SMC is dealing out here.
No, not at this time anyway.
And we'll see what happens on Quarantine. So we've got that gas station garage objective is the first one coming out. It should be SMC on offense here. I believe it is their map point, or their map choice.
That is correct. And no need for them to really give that up, right? Because they've got the series already locked up. So no need for them to play it safe and say, yeah, you can pick the map, we'll take the side. Because they don't have to worry about that this time around. Series is secured and in the bag. It was a what, 8-1 return on the first 2 maps?
Yeah, a very solid scoreline for SMC. They're not looking very weak at all. Some missteps. I mean, they've recovered well. I think one of the hallmarks of a good team is making a mistake, but being able to recover from it in a smart way. And they did a lot of that. They made quite a few mistakes, but were able to just quickly recover, find those refrags, understand the positions of their teammates and where things could have gone wrong, and just deal with the Pacifists in a strong fashion.
Yeah. I mean, I want to steal that fact, because I always called it, you know, defensive rotations and things like that. You know, teams with weaker defensive rotations after picks have come out, taken down some of their teammates. It's usually the sign of a not quite well-rounded defense yet, right? Because you have to, like you said, react and be able to adapt to those changes as the round goes on, because you should already have auxiliary plans essentially in place, because you know that no round is going to ever go the way you want it, because God likes when you make plans, from what I understand. So making those plans and hoping that they're going to go all the way through with 0 hiccups is, well, it's a little bit ignorant, to be honest.
It is a bold strategy, as I think a famous movie once put it. Definitely a bold strategy to only have one plan and have no fallback. But SMC is one of those weathered teams. You know, they've been around.
Oh yeah.
They've seen a lot. They know how to recover from unfortunate situations and pull off miracle wins in disadvantageous positions. So not surprised to see that there. And Pacifists, while a strong squad, still I think are finding their footing as a team. They've had some great plays. They've taken beginners down earlier in the season. Not a small feat for really any team.
No, not at all.
But now playing in this sort of NA style, I think it's not exactly what they're used to. I think, you know, the differences between EU and NA styles is stark enough that it could cause the issues that we're seeing here, and they're kind of struggling to find their footing against SMC, and we'll see if they can change that up in this final map and turn things to their favor.
I think SMC really just wanted to come at this one and just kind of, you know, stand behind their statement that, you know, button cup or not, NA is better, and they are really showing the EU right now what the NA top teams are capable of. And I think it was Global Chem Beginners that Nightfire and TFH are casting over on 1. Is that correct, Noman?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, so I can understand why not too many people might be tuned in for this match per se, because that one is definitely, from what I hear, is quite a banger at the moment. And still hasn't finished, and it started an hour before us, so the fact that they haven't rated us with all their viewers is pretty insane. So you know that one's going down to the wire. This one, not so much. We're not even into the first hour yet. We're on to the last map. So this one could be done within the hour, depending on how these next couple of rounds go. Though I have a feeling with Pacifists being a little bit more of the EU style that this might take a little bit longer, as these maps aren't quite as small and compact as the last couple.
I think a lot of this has just been that SMC has been controlling the pacing. Pacifists have not taken control of the pacing for pretty much any of these maps or rounds. We saw a couple of cargo rounds that they set the pace on, but for the most part, SMC controls the aggression, they control the engagements, and so far they've been controlling the game as a result. So Pacifists need to find their footing here, and if we take a look at the overhead map, I mean, the defense is set up a little bit far for what I would normally anticipate as good positions for this defense, a little bit northwesty heavy, but
Yep. Center burning is a linchpin.
I think it's going to be, again, one of those situations where when SMC pushes and makes their aggression known, like Landon does there in finding Jamie,
Burning.
then it is going to be an SMC round to watch.
Yeah, and you know, I took a look a bit at the expanded overhead just to get a little bit better idea of where the exact positioning of the defense is, and realistically SMC just needs to pull the two guys off the roof, back up Edna, make them push into the center, take out Rexar in the burning building, and then they're going to have a position to take out not only Strayjack, but also even possibly, or I'm sorry, definitely Strayjack, but who is this? Oh, Nutjob over there. So, and then that will basically just leave one defender left with a possibility of 5 SMC tactical members to close in on the objective. And so it'd be interesting to see what they did with that. But Edna will get taken down by Strayjack as he changes his angle, and she becomes a bit more exposed.
Sir Lucian now reacting off those shots, looking for the pick onto Strayjack, but Landon will be the one to find the backside first, as Sir Lucian does find the confirm, and Trip will be on his way
For the res.
or that res. And there it is, the count coming in. SMC does have 2 down, and the call out there is correct. Sir Lucian and Captain Soda line up here onto the burning. Rexar sort of abandoned the upstairs portion, now watching out towards the south. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to spot from that position, as Whale will be sending shots out towards land, and he thinks he's got him down. He does not, in fact, have that down. The smokes there should give away that information, as Rexar will be the one that finds Landon instead. And just a lot of sort of pre-fire into the smoke.
Sir Lucian thinks that he's taken down Rexar because he took a single shot at Rexar's head, and Rexar ducked, but he doesn't know that, and now he just found out the hard way that the guy he thought was dead
Captain
was
Soda with that
definitely alive.
quick refrag, though, is going to find the linchpin position here, as you mentioned. The burning building is now in control of the offense, and it's a 2v2. Trip and Captain Soda, the only 2 left. Nutjob sending a few rounds out towards Soda. And Whale will be the one that finds Trip on the push to the objective, and here we have got a situation where Captain Soda will have to find his way through 2 defenders, but he does have the position of both. He should have, just based off the audio alone.
He saw Nutjob through the crack. trying. He's gonna try and get the shots, but he knows that it's a risky move. And honestly, the way that defense was set, I would have never anticipated SMC being in this situation. I honestly felt there would be a lot more SMC members still left at this point, but I think some of the riskier moves they decided to make, Landon Jordan running across that very vast opening after tossing out those smokes, wasn't probably the best decision. Trips pushed towards Whale. I mean, obviously the route just wasn't right, so maybe that's just something to consider going forward. But Soda doing a good job here. Oh, he sees him on the corner, but he's not able to pull the gun up in time. Now he's going to re-peek on the corner. Nope, just some pre-fire to make sure he doesn't push too quickly. Now just a minute left on the clock. Soda actually with enough room, but because he's not been able to confirm nut job, the call out will come in if he tries to press the objective, and Jamie will have all the information, or Whale will have all the information he should need to be able to get the pick. But I think Soda might try and go for the opposite side, but Nutjob's definitely going to call this out.
Yeah, there's no position here where he won't be spotted out as he rotates.
Except now Nutjob won't be able to see him, so he won't be able to tell him which way around the building he's going to come. But he's going to hear, and he does, and Captain Soda, wow, with an amazing clutch there against some pretty stacked odds there for a second. I really thought he was trapped for a moment, but he does manage to secure that round for SMC. They take another 1-0 lead here on our final map.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at that rotation by Whale and not having the gun up and not being ready. Maybe the call out did not come out. I was not focused on the comms.
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but I mean, I would just assume that that Nutjob would give his team some information.
Well, you know what happens when you assume, Sleepy.
Well, I'm already an ass, so what are they going to do?
Yeah, but a great play there. Again, I think the pacing very much set by SMC's approach. Pacifists just kind of laying in wait. I didn't see a ton of rotation to cover the open angles, right? I think everybody just kind of stuck to their spot. They were good spots for the final hold, but I'm just surprised to not see a little bit more reaction from the Pacifists to SMC's positioning.
Yeah, no, for sure. The defensive rotations, the reactionary tactics, or the recovery tactics, as I'm going to now affectionately call them, are definitely a little weaker on the side of Pacifists. I agree with you. I do feel that SMC has been able to control the tempo of this game, even when they're on defense. Whether it's to get a little aggressive and push out a little early in a round to get a singular pick just to kind of set the offense in an off foot or whatnot. But overall, yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. I do believe that SMC has been able to control the pace of this. It's their tempo or nothing, but they've been able to also allow Pacifists their time without getting too antsy and it biting them in the butt, because there were a few rounds there when the SMC were on defense where I thought, well, their antsiness is going to end up getting them killed. For example, like that cargo round where Rexar was slowly starting to just pick apart the defense because they just couldn't sit still.
Yeah, very dangerous stuff. SMC now on the defense for this garage objective, and Landon Jordan there. Oh, lost his tablet, dropped his gun. He's just having a hard time overall.
That's what you get for imitating a kung fu master, Landon.
Got the C4 here out on the edge of the green car. An interesting spot for it. Actually, not a bad spot if you're thinking about people trying to cap on that outside corner.
And the color of the car, dude. Look at this. Look at that angle. You can't see that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a tough...
On that olive drab green car. By the way, what car manufacturer makes an olive drab car from the factory?
Hey man, that might be just a custom riced out. It's one of these guys' whip. You know what I mean? This is like a military operation. Somebody brought their sweet olive drab,
Ford Taurus.
Yeah, they're Ford.
their G-Man car.
Take a look here in the north as Whale, Nutjob, and Rexar all make their push for the rooftop position. You absolutely have to have for almost every objective on this map. It's just such a strong position to start from, a position of height, a position of power, whatever you want to call it.
Position of power. Position of power.
It's a power position.
It's a power position. This is a power play.
Well, we don't know if it's a power play yet, as there has not yet been contact between the two teams.
Edna just spotted the Eastern Cross down in the southeast. They were going well, completely unnoticed, but I think they did manage to spot on the cross as Stray Jack runs over. While I can't remember who it was down there with them, but the other person, it's Jamie, took the time to prone all the way at like the far end of the map, and then Stray Jack just comes running across the street. Oh man, when you're trying to go stealth.
Well, somebody else did it all for you. Hey, he didn't get shot at? All right, good. I can run. I don't have to do all that laying down nonsense.
It's like how I feel in Tarkov when I think I'm being quiet, and then I'm walking on scaffolding, and it sounds like I'm wearing diver's boots from the 50s.
Like you're wearing
clamp, clomp, clamp.
Yeah, you forgot to take off your cycling cleats. Definitely.
Got my weighted dive boots on.
That's actually one of the things that I think this game could benefit quite a bit from is the unique sounds of a particular surface that you're walking on, right? Like if I'm walking around the plane wing, I want to hear a little bit more metal.
Yeah, no, that is a good idea actually, and a good note to make. It's something I never even really considered, Noman. That's like how little you even think about that sometimes when you're just so immersed in these games, man. And that's why we all kind of love VR. We get lost in these worlds, and that's why most of these guys and gals, they play this game with so much like passion. Like it becomes a part of your life. Your team becomes your family. You guys get really close. I know Danglers were really close when I was on the team. We got the chance to meet each other at a couple of the events, and I got to also meet some of the other team members, and they all got to have those bonding experiences and really come up. But even those who haven't had the privilege to be able to go to a LAN or an on-site event have organized their own get-togethers. I know Vikings organized a get-together over in Europe. Animal House has done 1 or 2 get-togethers on their own. A lot of teams are starting to actually, find ways to like meet up and really continue to build that bond, because as I said, these people really enjoy this, and it becomes just a whole part of their life. It becomes an extension of them to a certain degree.
Indeed they do. Stray Jack is going to find Edna. The res coming out inside of the Volk twins there. After a nice pick from the rooftop, gets shut down, and Captain Soda will be the one that finds the refrag there onto Stray Jack.
That was almost a nice airburst, but just cooked too long. A little more fall time, he would have been able to take down Soda there.
Sir Lucian does find that frag onto Nutjob. Does not know that he's got the pick down. Thinks he's just got him suppressed, so that is going to keep him tied up on that angle a little bit longer than he absolutely has to be. The offense is already pushing in here. Pacifists coming through. The final 2 members, Jamie and Rexar, coming in through the west, and Trip is going to be the first one to find.
I was going to say, well, now just Rexar, but...
Not a bad smoke. Rexar's got quite a bit of work cut out for him, though. I don't think 1 smoke is going to do it. Should be ready here for Captain Soda's position. He does a little bit of... I mean, he's checking every corner and every angle. Kind of has to. He's got 75 seconds left on the clock. If Trip is a little too aggressive here, he might catch a bullet. As a result, Rexar now taking fire from 2 different positions. He's forced to rotate out in the final minute of this round, and he rotates right into Sir Lucian's viewpoint. And he will find that kill, and SMC goes up yet another point here in the series.
Yep. It's almost like even with the 1 point Pacifist got, that this has just been like 9-10 unanswered points from SMC. Like, I know that they got the round, and that round they actually did earn. It's not like it was an SMC gimme or SMC messed up. Like, Pacifists definitely won the round that they, earned their point on. And as we've mentioned again, and it sounds like we're just giving the Pacifists a lot of crap, and to a certain extent we are. I mean, you can't learn unless you're given things to work on, and you're not given criticism. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe the Pacifists just weren't quite ready for this. Maybe they weren't in gear. Maybe they weren't at the top of their game. Obviously, playing with a reservist is not the ideal situation either, so having one of your key members of your roster or your starting lineup not available definitely can make some impact, but SMC just really showing overall that they are here to play, they're here to win, and they are looking for blood this season.
They are indeed. They are indeed looking for blood here, and specifically EU blood.
Yes. Blood of the dirty European nations.
Okay.
JK, that's not how I feel.
They're not. Sleepy's views do not reflect the views of the VRML or its partners.
I just said just kidding. I don't even feel that way myself. I'm like the one person in the freaking Discord that doesn't care whether you're an EU team or an NA team. Just play the game and play it well. That's all Sleepy wants.
That's right. That's all we want is for everyone to just play the game.
Just play the D game.
And we want everyone to also cast the game and watch the game. And it just all game all the time is what we want here. As we get into our third round, SMC back on the offense. Pacifists defending this center burning objective. And SMC is going to be getting this quick spawn. They're going to get rooftop quickly, so we're going to see some action here right out the gate, I think, as Rexar and Jamie will be pushing right into the offensive positioning. Captain Soda should have heard him first, but Trip is going to find the pick first, and Jamie and Edna will find contact.
Wow.
And both of those engagements going the way of SMC.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, the smokes are out already onto the objective. A lot of early pressure coming in here from the center. We'll see if SMC acts on those smokes. It looks like they're just going to try and toss a couple more grenades out. A very nice nade. It is going to find Whale. And a pick coming out from Captain Soda, and a tag team from Lucian will take Stray Jack out of the running as Nutjob, the final member remaining here. And he's got to be so careful. He hasn't checked his tablet. I don't think he knows who's up and who's down.
There's
And
a cap play.
What's black and what's white, everything is crazy. Whale is on the objective. He will have the call out for a cap, but I mean, there's just not a lot of play here. I can't believe he didn't come out for Whale's res earlier. Landon should be spotting these out. The shots ring out, but Whale is actually able to find Landon on the corner instead. Now Sir Lucian.
Here comes Trip around the backside of the fuselage. He is going to be able to find Whale. Will the angle? No, it got enough downward view angle to be able to see him. Now he's out on the objective. Now he's aware that they could cap on him. But there we go. Solution picks up the kill as Nutjob tries to press the defense. And SMC go up 3-0 on map 3.
SMC just continuing their tear here and getting themselves positioned nicely for this final round of Quarantine to close this map out with a potential 12-1 score here against the Pacifists. Not something I think any of us or the viewers expected to see in this series.
Yeah, I definitely didn't. I really, you know, and I agreed with you. Said it earlier. We did think that these would go more to like 3-3 round 7s, but unfortunately, it just hasn't been the case. SMC have been bringing their A game, and Pacifists have been putting up a fight. But ultimately, SMC's just got that little bit of extra adrenaline or that extra little bit of muscle mass. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, though, they are having just a little bit more of it. And unfortunately for Pacifists, it just hasn't led to many points being put on the board. But again, that doesn't mean that this game has been bad, because it hasn't. Some teams have just either made very good plays, nice recoveries, so on and so forth. And it's gone both ways. I mean, I've seen great plays on both sides. Rexar, for example, really clutch for his team in that first map, and has been doing pretty well since then, if I believe correctly. I mean, he is leading their team in kills on this map. So yeah, I mean, overall, still good play, but just not quite enough for Pacifists today.
Yeah, they're not out of it yet. They do have this offensive round still left to go, and SMC, you know, maybe they're getting tired. Who knows? We'll see what happens here. They've still got a chance to get back on the board. A cap could swing things in their favor pretty quickly here, so I'm not going to count them out just yet, but we are getting into the round, so we don't have to wait much longer to see what that final setup is going to look like. It's SMC now on the defense for the center burning. Pacifists do get that long spawn at the crater. See them running around over there.
I'm not going up with you. I'm not going up with you. I'm peeking middle spawn.
Trip here looking for anybody crossing from that.
And
Watch out, I don't see anybody.
also going to be trying to push the north and push and look for that crater north push. So far, nothing. No one going that way. It looks like they're going to try and stay towards that kind of northern portion of the center of the map. But as I say that, they just come around the corner, and now they're going to slowly be approaching just a sheer shooting gallery for Landon Jordan. They're going to need to push a couple people at a time here in order for this to work. Here's Whale on the first peak. Landon with the kill right away. Nutjob going to go for the re-peek. But Landon has already pulled himself back off the corner, and now here comes the frag. Will it have enough?
Oh, almost too much.
Oh,
Jamie was
it
the one
almost
in
got
danger there.
Could you imagine running around a corner just for that grenade to go off? Oh man, that would be tough breaks. Now Jamie gonna try and lob one over himself, but it's just not gonna be far enough. Landon Jordan still in dominance here in the north, and there it is, the third kill for Landon on this one. Edna will go ahead and grab Rexar on the opposite side of the map. Now it's just the one remaining member in Strayjack up in the Marsoc Eastern Headquarters building.
He is in this East HQ, and he's sort of the final, the final straw. He's the final countdown. What? Strayjack's got quite a bit of work cut out for him here as he starts to rotate across the south. He's got a full SMC defense to work with. As
He's gonna work with them.
he's got an advantage in that they all assume that he's in the north. I think everybody's, you can see like most of the mini map arrows here are pointed sort of eastern, northern. So if he comes in from that southwest side, he could surprise one or two of them.
Nah, Landon just saw him, I think.
Oh yeah, the cross coming out here. He does manage to get across one line of fire. He doesn't manage to get across the second.
If Edna hadn't gotten that one kill, sorry, your mic cut out on my end. That's why I thought you stopped talking. But if Edna hadn't gotten that one kill, that was an ace for Landon in that round.
Yeah, great play there by SMC to close the series out in a commanding fashion, with the final score being 12-1 here in that final Button Cup match. And what a series it was. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely outside of my realm of expectations. I expected to see Pacifists do a little bit more damage than what they were able to do there, but SMC, like you said, just really feeling themselves today. Any final thoughts on that matchup, Sleepy?
No, not particularly. I think I kind of said everything I wanted to say there at the start of the last round. Pacifists didn't play a bad game today, and so if you're on the Pacifists or a friend of the Pacifists, someone who's somehow connected to them, please try and take what we said today, or what I said especially. I mean, Noman can apologize for his own critiques on his own, but you know, if you have an issue with something that I said, or maybe there's a reason why something happened that I'm not aware of, you're always welcome to tell me. I don't mind being corrected. I can definitely, assume things, but overall, I still think the Pacifists played a great game. They shouldn't be disappointed in themselves. SMC is a very seasoned team. They're one of the longest running teams in the league, with one of the most consistent lineups. Now, that's changed recently, but overall, it's still fairly the same at its core, and I think a lot of that has a lot to do with how well they continue to play, even when they pull in new members to their team. And I don't know that Pacifists are really to that point yet, and I think that's mostly because for a while there at first, Pacifists were very kind of on and off again. Like, they were there, then they were not, then they were there, then they were not, and then I think last season, or maybe 2 seasons ago, they were there and they were consistent, and then they've been playing that way since then. So I think it's just a matter of experience, honestly.